Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Wait, take.
Throw. End zone. Caught. Terrence Williams. Touchdown, Cowboys. Tony Romo.
They go for the shotgun. Roger looks left. Fires it out there. Caught by Tony Hill. Touchdown, Cowboys.
15 to the 10, he'll score. Emmitt Smith dances to the end zone. The Cowboys have taken a 2-score lead.
Play fake to throw it out of the end zone.
Going way down the field for Michael Irvin, bumping and grinding at the 5. Oh, he's got it. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Over the middle, caught by Witten, who loses his helmet but still keeps going. A penalty. All the pressure on the left side. He drops the ball, throws, caught, Witten. Touchdown.
Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed.
99 yards and a half.
Dorsett down the sideline. Stays in bounds.
Can you believe that?
And short because they're 99 yards.
Prescott able to get out of the end zone and now airs it out for Lamb. He's got it. He's gone. When he gets there, it's a touchdown, Cowboys. On top.
You want to know what an all-pro looks like? Watch Michael Irvin here. He'll battle you all the way down the field.
Motion on first down, Aikman. Harper. Was that beautiful? Touchdown, Dallas. Men on the rush. Pass is caught. Deflection. Touchdown. Cowboys win. Amari Cooper.
Throws it down the field. It's caught at the 10. And this game is over. The Cowboys win it. C.D. Lamb.
But no. But you understand, we do have one game left to play. Hey, fantastic. Every single one of you. I mean, I'm not just talking about these last 60 minutes. I'm talking about the quarterback schools, the mini camp, the off-season, the training camp, down in Austin when it was hot and you were tired, the whole bit. Everybody, you did one hell of a job. And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Welcome back, Cowboys Nation, to another episode of Sons of the Star. I'm your host, Dallas. Joining me again, as always, is my co-host, Cowboy Reg. We are finally here. This is the week. NFL kickoff is in 2 days. The Dallas Cowboys play in 4 or 5 days. I don't know exactly. 4 days, 5 days?
4 days.
So we have made it, folks. Cowboy Reg, how are we feeling? Are you excited for NFL to kick off, or are you dreading it?
I'm excited, and I'm going to tell you why I'm most excited.
Okay.
Is I had confused that the Eagles-Packers game was the kickoff on Thursday, and then the Chiefs-Ravens game would be Friday. And then I realized this week that I was wrong. Thursday is the Chiefs-Ravens. So now I'm excited about seeing football again. I didn't want to see the green guys play the first game, right? So now I'm excited about this game. Can't wait.
Yeah, opening night will be the Baltimore Ravens in Kansas City, and we are going to give our game predictions for all this weekend's games coming up at the end of the show. So we are live on X again today, so if you have questions and comments throughout the show, make sure to throw them in the chat. Let us know how you're feeling about opening week of NFL. And we also got a special guest tonight from our buddy Yusef, who's a Cowboys writer over at We Like Sports. So she should be joining us here very shortly. But we have a lot to get into today. We're going to do a Dallas Cowboys Cleveland Browns breakdown. We did our season preview last week. So this is all game preview, talking about how the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game against the Cleveland Browns. So we will get into the specifics. But first, we have our friend Yusef on right now. So I think we're going to bring him right on, if that sounds good with you, Cowboy Reg.
Yeah, bring him into the
Thunderdome, something like that. No, that's taken. That's somewhere else. All right, Yusef, how are we doing? Can you hear us?
I can, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, good to see you, Yusef. Doing well.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Where are you joining us from?
Well, Toronto. Where else would I be, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know I knew you're from Canada. No, I think you said on the show before you're from Toronto. Okay, how's the weather up there?
It's really humid. Like, we get this humid, like, to like, they call it Indian summer here till the end of October.
Okay.
And then November's fall, and then December gets a little chilly. And when it gets to January, you have to go away somewhere, right?
Yeah.
They come
I
to
would
us.
take it right now. We're both down south, man, and it's
Yeah, they
still
come.
brutal down here. So I want some.
We have a tremendous amount of Canadians that vacation here or have their winter home here down in South Carolina.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of Canadian license plates on the island. I live on Hilton Head Island, so a lot of Canadian plates between January and March.
And especially Labor Day. We used to come to Labor Day all the time, play golf
Oh,
in Hilton
yeah.
Head. So.
Oh wow, there you go.
Well, next time you come down, we'll get together.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, first of all, just kind of let's, introduce yourself. Tell us, what you do over at We Like Sports and how you became a Cowboys fan and how you're feeling about this team coming in the 2024 season. That's what we want to hear. And then I have some more questions for you. But let's start out with a little intro.
I'm Yusef. I live in Canada, in Toronto. I became a Cowboys fan since I was 10.
Okay.
My two cousins were Steelers fans, so I'm like, okay, we can't have that, right?
Nice. I like that.
So first time I watched the Cowboys was the 78 Super Bowl with Roger Staubach and Tony Dorsett and Tom Landry and Drew Pearson, the original 88, Doomsday Defense.
Yes, sir.
Harvey Martin and all those that great defense we had in the 70s. And then I became a writer and We Like Sports. My friend Shelly Tomasi, who's a big Yankees fan, said they were looking for writers who are passionate about sports. And I just put my name forward, wrote a couple sample articles, and here I am.
That's awesome, man. So you're also a Yankees fan. You feel pretty confident about the Yankees making it through the AL?
Yeah, we'll see. We're struggling a little bit. Like Dominguez should have been called up from the farm team, but he wasn't. I don't know why. What the management was thinking. They brought up these other guys, but they're pitchers and like some Efros and Birdie and like those two guys. So we'll see what happens. We just have to have a good September and into October and get on a bit of a win streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
plan.
That's the plan.
That's
Everyone
awesome.
stays healthy. We should be good. So going back to the Cowboys, I really like our defense. We did some great upgrades with Mike Summers, the D coordinator, bringing like half his guys from Minnesota with like Kendricks and Joseph, the D lineman that we signed like last week. I guess we've got this running back by committee thing now. But it'll depend, I guess. I guess whoever's hot that week will probably play next week, right?
Yeah.
As a starter, and like we signed Devin Cook last week. See if he gets elevated. I don't know if it's this week, but probably next week, right? And and then the whole Dak
Sorry, no, there's gonna be
the whole
some time
Dak
before you
thing
see
this
Delvin
week. If
Cook.
he gets signed or not signed,
Yeah. Who knows?
I think who was it? Diane Rossini, who covers the NFL, I think for NFL Network. She was saying it depends on the amount of years, right? Like that's the sticking point right now.
That's the sticking point. I think the Cowboys want more years out of that contract. I think Dak is going like 3 and they're saying 4. So I'm hearing that people are optimistic that the deal would be done either over Labor Day weekend or before week 1. But every day that goes by, Yusef, I feel like it's not going to happen till the end of the year if they don't get it done in the next couple of days.
Exactly.
Dak has historically said, I won't negotiate during season. And they know that, which means Jerry likes to do deals at the last minute, just like he did with CD. So the last minute is week 1, and that's 4 days away. So I'm optimistic in the next 4 days the deal gets done. And if it doesn't, then he's a free agent. Forget about it. They're not going to, he won't negotiate during the season. That's my feeling.
Because I don't know if you guys remember with Zeke, it was like the day before the first game, right?
Yeah. And he played
at the 11th hour, right?
I think he went out and had like 2 carries or something that game. Just he was in uniform or something, but that was the 11th hour. Yeah, that was crazy. At least they learned enough to sign CD with 2 weeks to get ready instead of 1 day.
Yeah, and then I am looking at like the breakout player on the defense this year is Overshawn. I think he's going to do some good things.
Yeah, I would hope so. They need some production out of those young linebackers. You know, we like Maris Leafau a lot. We're Notre Dame football fans, but Overshown, you know, he's shown that
he's overshown.
He's overshown, you know, himself in training camp. So they're pretty high on him, and hopefully he's the good thing about having young guys too is they could just immediately, you know, they know they're going to learn this Mike Zimmer defense, even though he was under the Quinn defense last year. You know, he suffered that injury. So hopefully he's a guy that, you know, Zimmer takes under his wing, and Kendricks can kind of show him the ropes, and he performs well. I think he's got good speed, and hopefully he can stop the run well. And you know, Damone Clark's a pretty good coverage guy. So I think the mixture there will be good. But yeah, we're gonna need good production out of that linebacker room for sure this year.
I mean, looking to see how Diggs does in his first game.
Yeah.
I guess he'll be shadowing Amari the whole game. So
yeah, he'll be on Amari Cooper, which is always interesting to see former guys, you know, former teammates battling it out. But
and I think that's good news for us that he's dealt with his routes before in practices. So
yeah,
I think that's good news. I don't think it's great news for Amari at all. I mean, he's got to show a guy his moves, right? He runs a particular style, and he's a very precise, you know, pattern runner. And
so I was looking at the Browns, like they're looking at the Browns, like their running backs they're not a great running back team. And Deshaun Watson, he didn't play at all in the preseason. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right? No, you're right.
Yeah. Nick Chubb is out, and then Naheem Hicks is out as well. And then from there you have Jerome Ford is running back 1, and then from there it's Deontay Foreman from Chicago, and then they have who's their second guy here? They have Pierre Strong Jr., who I really don't know much about, but you know, losing Chubb is huge. And so Jerome Ford going to be running back 1. So, I mean, that's a team that's kind of like us in a sense where you know, they're missing a star running back. And that's traditionally a team that, you know, relies on running the ball quite a bit. So that's a huge advantage for the Cowboys in week 1 with Chubb being out for at least 4 weeks, I think is how long he's out. So that's a tough loss for him. And then Deshaun, we don't really know what to expect. So we'll see. You know, that it's definitely not looking like an offensive battle week 1, I wouldn't assume. But, you know, what concerns you the most, Yusef, when it comes to the Cleveland Browns? You know, if they're going to beat the Cowboys, how are they going to do it?
See how Guyton does in his first start, protecting Dak. That's like a concern of mine. And then the secondary a little bit, you know, because Bland's not there.
Yeah.
We don't know how they're going to perform. I mean, they should be okay, but we'll see, right?
Yeah, Kalen Carson, you know, starting week 1 in Cleveland. That's
tough. He likes to run around and, you know, find his open guys if we can't get any pressure on him. But it's the first game. See how Dak does because he didn't play in the preseason either. So he might be a little sluggish the first couple of quarters or the first half, and then I think a CD as well, right?
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
I think we got to establish a run. I think it's super important and the mistake we made against Green Bay was we weren't able to run the ball early, and then that leads to a turnover. So the running back by committee is and the lineman that we drafted tells me that we're going to try to run the ball. I mean, a lot of people are saying Dak's going to have a record number of attempts, and And I think the Cowboys want the league to think that. But the signing they just made with Cook, the elevation of Rico signing him as a technically as a free agent and bringing Zeke back, I think they're going to try to run the ball. I think they're going to come out and try to run the ball. And I hope they come out to run the ball so Dak can get settled in.
Yeah, that's.
Oh no, Yusef, what's going on back there? You got
I'm here part of the house. I'm just gonna go upstairs. Hold on.
He's vacuuming, Luke.
One second.
That's called multitasking.
No problem at all. Hey, we understand what it's like, man. It's life doesn't stop for the Sons of the Star show, so we get it. I got dogs running around.
We're getting a little tour. And my cat has jumped on the show probably a dozen times since we started this.
Yeah.
So it happens on Sons of the Star. Things get wild.
Yeah.
I've seen kids in a few podcasts.
Right. Yeah. Luke's had his baby boy a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe I can't really remember.
Maybe you haven't. I'm thinking.
I don't think he's made his appearance yet. He might be bad.
He made his appearance at the fantasy football Zoom call we were on the other day. That's what I'm thinking.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm in a fantasy football pool as well.
Nice.
You know what I did when we had a draft a couple of weeks ago? I completely forgot about it. I was working, and I went into this auto draft, right?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so I guess I have the best team for week 1. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. If you use auto draft, they're going to rate your draft as number 1 draft because they drafted it.
Yeah.
The problem with auto draft is you end up with like 2 really good quarterbacks or 2 really good running backs, and you're like, well, they're just picking best. I think they pick best available if you don't use your settings. So you get top loaded and then you have no depth.
Yeah, exactly right. So,
but you don't make any bad decisions either. You don't take anything personal. Like I go into a draft knowing that I absolutely refuse to draft anybody from the Eagles, and that's really a mistake because that's a bias I shouldn't bring into fantasy. So if I went on auto draft, I'd probably have a better team.
Yeah, exactly right. So so I'm excited for week 1. Hope we don't do a stinker, come off flat.
Hey, we've had a couple good week 1s. I mean, 40-0 last year in New York.
Yeah.
In a lot of Stephen A. Smith and his boys were picking the Giants to win not only that game but the NFC East last year. So we went into that game a little nervous, and we won 40-0. And Dak came out like he had played the entire preseason, which to me solidified him never playing in the preseason again, based on that 40-0 score. I hope they gambled correctly on that one. I don't
know if you guys saw the Good Morning Football on NFL Network this morning.
Yes, they did not pick the Cowboys to make the playoffs.
Well, last year they picked the Giants to win the division.
Yeah, same thing. That's why.
Okay,
you know what? I don't want anybody to pick the Cowboys. We're Notre Dame fans, and last week we watched the pregame show. The entire panel picked Texas A&M, and I said, "Hey, that's great. We don't need that pressure."
No.
So Cowboys, they're favored to lose, and the point spread is 2.5, I believe.
Yeah, 2.5.
They're supposed to lose that game. Nobody's picking to even be in the playoffs. Perfect. The stage is set for Dak Prescott to have a big game.
Yeah, it is. And
Hot Take City knows what I'm talking about. We're talking about the Giants.
He doesn't like the Giants hate. Let's
personal. It was
let's get your predictions here, Yusef, before you let you go, and we gotta, try and get to our full show. But
sure.
So first of all, Cowboys season 2024-2025, 10.5 wins is the over/under right now. Over or under for the Cowboys?
Over. I have us at 12-5.
Love it. So do I. I knew I liked you, Yusef. I knew I liked you. Okay, so 12-5, I like it. Do you think we take the division or wild card team?
I think we take the division.
Hell yeah. Sir. I really like you, Yusef. Keep going, baby. Come on.
So,
preach on, brother.
For this weekend, week 1, I have us winning 31-17.
Oh,
31-17. I love it.
That's huge. That's big.
Ass kicking in Cleveland.
Woo.
Yeah.
I like that kind of party.
What else? So I'm a Longhorns fan. So we play at Michigan on Saturday.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's going to be a busy weekend, man.
Yeah. So
it's a big game. I think they'll win that game.
We should, because Michigan lost all their starters anyways.
And the coach.
And everybody else. And November 30th we play at A&M, so we'll see.
Yeah, Texas should be good, but they're a lot like the Cowboys, man. They got to deal with a lot of hype. And my wife's from Texas, and she's a TCU grad, so we don't like UT in this house. Yeah, we don't like UT. So
yeah, they're
hopefully
throwing
she's
horns
not
down,
listening.
and
we're all horns down. But I think they got a good team. They got a good team this year.
They do,
and they're going to be really dangerous. So, final question, for you. So, what do you think is success for this Dallas Cowboys season, and what would you say would be a failure? So, what does success look like for this season?
The defense, they'll be great in the defense, I'm sure. It's a running back by committee that concerns me a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to get that running game going, and we can't get behind in games, and then the running game stops, and Dak's throwing like 40 times a game.
Yeah,
I agree.
And we have to play well on the road, because last year we were like 3-5 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, because I looked at a stat
Yeah,
today.
because they were undefeated at home, so they had to have lost.
Yeah,
had lost 5 games on the road. Man, that I didn't know. I didn't even think of that stat. Yeah, we got to turn that around.
And I think last 17 games we're 16-1 at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty insane.
Pretty insane. And
so you got to keep that
win
up
on the road. If you split on the road, that's great. But anything better would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and they struggle against good teams on the road, and that's kind of what they're gonna have to do week 1. So I think this is a good test on a lot of.
Unfortunately, week 1 is a game they lose last year. They lose those AFC. I'm not even the best teams in the AFC, but that top tier, the Buffaloes, the Cincinnatis, the Clevelands, they struggle with them teams.
They do for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, they just and Miami. There's another one. Miami. How are you losing to Miami last year? Come on. So
that was a terrible game last year. That was a frustrating loss.
We're all optimistic about it, but this is the matchup they usually lose, unfortunately. And I picked Dallas to win like you. I'm picking Dallas to win, not by 14, but by a field goal. By a field goal,
By a field goal, yeah. And then I can see us starting the season. Well, we should start the season 3-0, right?
We this year?
Yeah, because we play New Orleans next weekend, after the.
Yeah, we got Baltimore in week 3 though. So
we do. Sorry, I thought we had the Giants. My fault. Okay.
No, it's okay. I would be ecstatic, man. If we start the season off 3-0 and we beat the Baltimore Ravens, you're gonna have to
buying Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Super Bowl tickets early.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
There.
We're gonna have you on every week. You're gonna be our good luck charm, Yusef. So no pressure on that.
And we'll have to get media passes. I don't know how that works, but
Oh yeah, we're working on it.
Gotta do it. They
if you have any connections, though, let us know for the media passes.
Well, I was talking to Reg when we spoke yesterday or whenever, Saturday or something, whatever. So there's a couple of guys from DallasCowboys.com. They'd be willing to come on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just have to make sure, their schedules or whatever, whenever we do the show. They seem to be – they're cool guys. They seem to be pretty open, right? So –
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, man, that's awesome. The goal of this podcast is just, try and – see where it takes us. You never know. So we're just trying to, we're just a couple idiots trying to make sense out of this crazy world that is the Dallas Cowboys. So we appreciate having you on, Yusef. We hope to have you again, and go Cowboys. And
go Cowboys.
We appreciate you being a fan of the show and tuning in and joining us today, man. So hope you
have
a great week.
One more thing, people that's listening out there, don't forget to like our channel.
Yeah, that's right. And then
appreciate it.
Like Sons of the Star, and also hit up We Like Sports. So I got the link right there, WeLikeSportsPC.com, and check out some of Yusef's articles on the Dallas Cowboys. It's always a great read. And if you want to hear some Yankees talk too, so
Yeah,
playoff season coming soon.
And Reg, keep those trivia coming. It's getting too easy, Reg. Come on.
Oh,
You thought now today's was tough. I got a lot of wrong answers today.
For Eric Williams?
Yeah. Yep. I got a few people thought that was Harvey Martin, and a few. Hey, offensive linemen, they're not household names unless you're a diehard Cowboys fan like you, my friend.
God. Yeah. Hot Take City. Rico rushes for 120.
Yeah, that's our guy right
TD.
there.
I would love to. He's got him in fantasy, so he's
a fan.
Yeah, man.
Okay, guys, it was a pleasure being on the show. Let's do it again.
Heck yeah, man. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Go Cowboys, Yusef. Thanks, man.
You too. Have a good one.
You too, buddy.
All right. So that was our boy Yusef from over at We Like Sports Cowboys Writer. So he's predicting a 31-17 Cleveland drumming in Cleveland, and also predicting the Cowboys to go 12-5 with the NFC East Championship. Hey, man, you got to love the Canadians. They're very optimistic. They're very good people. Not like me. I'm a pessimist. Although I did predict us to go 12-5. But
yeah, you didn't predict 31-17 though.
No, but that's coming later. But no, I am definitely not predicting 31-17. It's going to be they used to call them slobber knockers. Now they call them rock fights. And I think we're going to be in a little rock fight in Cleveland. All right, moving right along here. So, we kind of got into it a little bit with Yusef, but, we're back to just us again, the father and son duo that is Sons of the Star. And we want to break down the Cleveland Browns. So we got the Cleveland Browns in week 1. This is a team that kind of, I would say, surprised the league last year. Wouldn't you say, Cowboy Reg, with an 11-6 year? They weren't able to win their division because
the
AFC North is a beast. But
the way they did it was a surprise. I mean, you knew the roster was there, but with Deshaun Watson out, and they could not find a quarterback, and they bring this guy in off the street. No one had them going as far as they went. That was a shocker, the way they did it. But they got some players. They've had a lot of, top-notch draft picks when the team is struggling. They got a true rebuild there. And that's what a rebuild looks like. Now these guys are in their prime. So look out. This is a good football team.
Yeah, if there's one thing that Cleveland Browns have, it's draft picks, and it's first-round draft picks, because this has been a terrible franchise for a very long time. And, they've really turned things around in Cleveland. You can hate on them all you want. They were the butt of the joke for a long time, the Cleveland Browns. And, now a few just 5-10 years ago, week 1 in Cleveland would have been a dream. All right, bye week 1. But not anymore, man. It's gonna be a tough game for the Dallas Cowboys. So they went 11-6 last year. They went into the playoffs as a wild card team and dropped one against Houston Texans. I think Flacco had 3 picks, maybe 2 pick sixes. He didn't look good. The defense didn't look good, and they just kind of fell apart. And hey, we know what that's like. Over here at the Dallas Cowboys, we fell apart in the playoffs too. So you can't really make fun of them there.
They did the exact same thing. If you look at it, they lost.
They
that
wild
truly
card
team, and they lost bad. And we had some interceptions.
Yeah,
and we are a perfect match. The NFL knows what they're doing when they put these two teams together week 1. These are two teams that are desperate to show what happened last year was a fluke. And the only way to do that is to win this game. This is a big game. This is a big matchup. Yeah,
so, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at this matchup going to week 1. But first of all, let's kind of look at the defensive side of the ball for the Cleveland Browns. I would say is definitely their strength. They have Myles Garrett who won Defensive Player of the Year last year. And that's really one of the biggest concerns right off the bat is you got Myles Garrett going against a rookie left tackle, Tyler Guyton, on the left side. And, that's a huge concern. They're strong up front. They have great linebackers in Hicks and Owusu-Koramoah. So they're good at stopping the run, but predominantly, they're one of the best pass rush teams in the NFL. So that's going to be a big concern. And the Dallas Cowboys are young and inexperienced on the offensive line right now. You got Cooper Beebe starting for the first time at center, and then you got Tyler Guyton. Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele. So, at least you got Smith on the left side to kind of help Guyton out. But, I don't know how much that's going to help when you're going against Myles Garrett. But other than that, the Cleveland Browns, they've allowed some passing yards, from last year's team. They're gettable on defense. It's just if you can manage that pass rush and you can give yourself time, this is a team that you can score on. They don't have a complete lockdown secondary. So what do you think the key is for the Cowboys offense, Cowboy Reg, going into this game against Cleveland?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. All right.
Everybody laugh. Now that you're done laughing.
I'm not laughing. It's the way you said it.
Who on this team in the backfield can pick up Myles Garrett when he beats Tyler Guyton? And he is going to beat him. Tyler Guyton has never played anybody like this guy.
Right.
You never played anyone in your life at his level. He sets the level. This guy's the best. And we're putting in a kid who's never seen it. So when he beats him, who's going to pick him up? That's why they brought in Zeke. He's the guy that's going to pass block. They're also going to see, we're all going to see Tyler Luetke. I really do. I think we're going to see the fullback out there. It's going to be all about Myles Garrett. And what scares me is not because I think they're going to pay attention to Myles Garrett. They're going to double team him. What scares me is one of those other guys that can make a play. And then Dak's going down, and that scares me. I don't want to turn the ball over. So we need to establish the run, in my opinion. We got to establish a run on this team. Man, that defense is scary, up front especially. Woo.
Yeah, so you don't have just Myles Garrett on one end, but you have Darius Smith on the other end. But,
there it is.
This is similar to Dallas Cowboys front. I mean, with DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, it's kind of the same type of thing. You got guys on the left and the right, so you can't just double team one guy. Like you said, that just opens it up for Smith. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. So, I mean, the pass rush is going to be huge, and that's the thing. If Dak is pressured often, and I like what you said, if Hunter Luepke can pick up some blitzes, that'd be great. If Zeke can do it as well, that's one of Zeke's best attributes, especially when he was playing really well.
That's going to be his job, man. We might go 2-back set, and he picks up the run block.
They might have to do that. They might have to do that out of shotgun. But I like what you said. You're establishing the run is huge because what you don't want to do against the Cleveland Browns is get into 3rd and long situations with that pass rush. Nope. If Dak's going to drop back, take a 5-step drop, and take a lot of time, he's just not going to have time. And if he's not going to scramble, we didn't really see him scramble a lot last year. That's a really bad situation for the Dallas Cowboys. So that's what I worry about. And that's what, like kind of what Yusef said, and like we said all off season, this running back by committee is great. Everyone likes to throw that term around, but like at the end of the day, we do not know what this running back room is really going to produce yet. We have hopes, and we hope that they can perform well. And we're also talking about he's in Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton. We're worried about them as pass protectors, but also, they need to be good run blockers as well. So how are they going to perform in the run game? That's another important piece. So there's a lot of unknowns there, offensive or facing this Cleveland defense. But like I said, you really just have to establishing the run would be great, but I think getting the ball out quickly with Dak, maybe using a weapon like Avonte Turpin to try and get on the edge and try to get the ball out quickly to Lamb. Jake Ferguson's another good option. So, and that's the other concern is how is Lamb going to look in week 1? We're going to need him to really perform. And this is why you have a guy like CeeDee Lamb that can be used in multiple ways, and we use him in the slot, use him on the outside. Is because when you face defenses like this, you got to stretch him out and you got to get the ball out quick and get that yak and get good yards after catch. Those short little passes that get you those chunk plays, 5-6 yards down the field. That's what it's going to take to move the ball. You're not, like I said, Dak's not going to have time to drop back and throw bombs. That's just not going to happen in this game. So they're going to have to get a little creative and find ways to kind of stretch his team out and give Dak, as much time as you can. So anything else that kind of scares you about the Cowboys going in here offensively against this Cleveland defense?
Well, I was actually going to give you a little bit of optimism, if that's okay. And let me tell you, there's two names that are not being listed as starters, and that's T.J. Bass and Brock Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys actually played last year and substituted in and even started a few games. They were beat out by the rookies. These rookies weren't just drafted and saying, you're here, and that's it.
Right.
All indications say they literally beat out Hoffman and Bass for those starting jobs. So if Hoffman and Bass were serviceable backups, and I think we all agree they were good backups last year. If they didn't win that starting job, that means we're right back to the line we had or better. To me, it's optimism. They beat those guys out, and those guys weren't bums. We thought at least one of them would be starters. Neither one of them are starters. So I feel good about the offensive line. And if we use Zeke correctly, and I believe we brought him in for a reason, we can pick up that pass rush. Now, if we go out there and start throwing the ball with no back or a one back set, that's just craziness. And then they start throwing picks and turning the ball over. That's what happened in Green Bay. You just came out slinging it every play, and they can't do that in Cleveland. If they play it right, I think there's optimism. I really think there is.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, Cowboy Reg. And that's the thing that you're going to hear a lot in the mainstream media is just like these rookies are starting. But like you said, they came in and earned those jobs. The only thing I would say about Tyler Guyton is, Chuma Doga is out with injury. So that did help. That immediately promoted him. But at the same time, he looked strong in preseason. He looked really well in preseason.
From training camp reports, he was beating him for the job. I mean, he was a beast. All indication is. And he played so little in the preseason, I believe it. You're protecting a guy from getting hurt, and he's a rookie. He must be special. So, I mean, all indication is he's going to be all right. I think I'm going to stay optimistic, and I always do. And sometimes it doesn't work out well, but I'm going to stay optimistic.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good, and that's a really good point. And like we said all the time on this podcast, we are Notre Dame football fans, and if you guys follow college football, the same concern happened with Notre Dame. They had 6 total starts on their offensive line going into the Texas A&M game, and they figured out how to do it, and they won the game, and they stepped up and played pretty well. And that's the thing; the Cowboys don't have to have their best offensive game of the year this game. They just need to not give it away. Basically, they have to be proficient enough. They could probably, if they could go out and put over 20 points on the board, they might have a chance to win this game just based off that, just by putting up 20 points. And I think they might need a little more than that, like maybe not 21, but maybe like 24 points. But, you don't have to go out there, because we're going to talk about the Cleveland offense here in a second. But
yeah, I think 24 points wins it.
Yeah. So you don't have to be lights out. You just have to be efficient. And the other thing, though, too, is you just have to be like, you have to sustain some good drives. And look, we got a real weapon in Brandon Aubrey. So if you could just get the ball past the 50, you might have a chance. Now, this game is
butter.
We're going to talk about the weather report here in a second, and it might be a little tough for the really long field goals there this weekend, but that's a weapon to have. But the thing you can't do is go out there and start the game with multiple 3-and-outs and not being able to move the ball down the field.
Establish that run, baby.
And you're gonna wear your defense down. So yeah, establish your run, but that's gonna be hard to do. I don't know. We'll see. So real quick here, let's talk about some of the stats when it comes to Cleveland offense. So or the defense, I'm sorry. So from last year, they were number 2 in all of the NFL in opposing passing yards per game, only giving up 171 yards per game. But the Dallas Cowboys offense was number 1 in the league last year in passing yards. So when they look at this game, they're going to be thinking, it's kind of the best of both worlds there. They were number 1 in the NFL for completion percentage allowed. So the last year Cleveland Browns defense is only giving up 58% of completions, which is pretty damn impressive. But on the flip side of that, the Cowboys were number 1 in the NFL in completion percentage last year. So again, that it's tick for tat there. So that's kind of fun. Let's see some of the other key stats here, but they're they're number 10 in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game. So that's kind of a more positive thing. I mean, they are top 10 in the NFL, but they weren't number 1. So that's
Right.
a plus. And then they're, number 6 in the NFL when it came to sack percentage, which you would kind of expect them to be
higher,
to be a higher number. So, but we'll see.
Is there a stat on pressures? Because and it seems like, maybe quarterbacks are getting the ball away quicker, but they're getting more incompletions because of it. It might be all those pressures.
I don't have that stat on me.
They're there. And
sorry, I got to plug my laptop in. Oh, shoot.
Your battery dying, and then Hot Take will let you know that's a no-no.
I know. Yeah, I think my charger's out there. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think the wild card here could be Kevontae Turpin.
Yeah.
He is healthy. He did not play a single down in the preseason because the reports out of camp where he was a freak in camp. He was a star. They said the guy's balling. Something's up with him. I don't know if they're going to use him for sweeps, for reverses, run him out of the slot, but I expect to see Kevontae Turpin on the field and getting the ball in his hands in this game. And I kind of like the idea of that quick pass to him in the slot, right? I mean, you can't really jump that route because the guy gets to line up in the slot rather than up on the line. So
yeah,
I can see him following a receiver like Brandon Cooks, for example, who I think he can throw that body around a little bit and get a block, and Kevontae Turpin can spring one. So I think there's something up with him. Again, I stay optimistic, but I'm trusting that they also execute this plan and establish that run in the slot. To me, it's kind of like a run, right? I mean, don't you think? It's pretty reliable that the guy's going to get the ball at least, just like you would hand a guy a ball.
Yeah, and the other thing you could do with Kevontae is you line him up in the slot, put him in motion, and you don't know if they're going to
hand the ball to
do
him,
a quick little handoff to him, and there's so much you could do. And the same thing with Lamb.
Little wildcat action.
Oh God, if they see a wildcat with Kevontae, I'll give you $20. I'd love to see it. That would be fun.
Well, I don't similar.
Yeah, I don't even know if they did that at TCU. I'd have to look it up, but something that you would definitely do in a video game for sure. I don't know if they do it there, but
what was it, XFL or USFL, where he was MVP. He got the ball and all. They had the ball in his hands all the time. He was a league MVP, man. He just wasn't playing special teams. That's all we've done is put him in special teams, and he's been electric. I think they figured out this kid's ready. Put the ball in his hand. I think he's going to contribute on Sunday, and it's a gamble. We might be talking on Sunday night. This guy went off and scored, 2 touchdowns or whatever. Or we might be saying, man, he got hit and he got tackled every time. And what's up with him? It's a gamble. We'll find out.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I kind of said earlier in the show, you might be confused. And I'm looking at matchup wise, like the Cleveland Browns they don't have some of the top, cornerbacks in the league with,
I thought you said their pass.
Their passing stats are good, but like individual ranking wise, Martin Emerson Jr. is who will likely be on
CD,
Tolbert or Cooks, depending on where Lamb lines up, and then Denzel Ward will be their cornerback 1. He will be on whoever's on the outside there. So he's ranked according to PFF 41st out of 127 when it comes to cornerback. So first top 33%, but from a top guy, that's not anything fantastic.
In normal circumstance, you say CD is going to go off,
right?
But there's a
it's
big
the pass
rush
mark
there. Where's CD at, though? That's my question. Where's he at?
Right,
and that's what concerns me. But if this was a midseason game last year, CD is going to torch this guy. That's what I would think. If he's 41st and he's going up, look, I think CD's 1 in the league. I'm biased. At worst, he's 5th in the league. So 41 versus 5, CD's winning that battle, right? But I don't know where CD's at. I don't even know how often they'll throw the ball. How much does Dak trust him?
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah, and again, those are PFF rankings. Take them how you are. I broke down a lot of the stats, and they're very impressive. But I think it's more to do with their elite pass rush, and they have really good linebackers as well. So I think they're able to take guys away without having to actually use their cornerbacks. So, like I'm saying, you look at their individual quarterback rankings, and it's not overly impressive. their safety rankings. But I mean, when you put the whole group together, they can scheme it up to really stop the pass. And that's what they were able to do last year. So, we'll have to see. They're, like I said, the Cowboys are going to have to find creative ways to get the ball down the field to win this game. So it's a threat, and they're going to have to find ways to protect Dak. So
yeah,
I don't expect them to be completely sack free, but you got to keep those sack numbers down, to a decent level. You can give up a couple, you just can't give up anything. You can't give up 5+ sacks this game and expect to win. It's just not going to happen. So that's really the threat, and I think that's why the Browns are favored in this game, is just how elite their pass rush is. So moving right along here, let's look at the Cleveland Browns offense matching up against this Dallas Cowboys defense. So like we said, Deshaun Watson will be the starting quarterback for the Browns. He only played in 6 games
in 2 years. 12 and
yeah,
2.
he played 6 games last year.
6 the year before, I believe.
Yeah, so I think you're spot on there. So he had 1,115 yards last year, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. Really never had any amazing stats. He played one good game against Arizona where he threw for 219 and 2 touchdowns. But other than that, just very kind of average there, man. He didn't look great, and he was never healthy. So, there's a lot of question marks going into Deshaun Watson this offseason. And that's probably why they picked up a guy like Jameis Winston, because that's a guy that, is considered one of the better backups in the entire league. So, they might be kind of banking on Deshaun not making it through this season. But, even if he is 100% healthy, he just hasn't had production in the past few years in the NFL. Like, he's a dual threat guy, but he comes with a lot of off the field issues, you could say, without getting into specifics. But I mean, he had a good year in Houston in 2020, a really good year. But since then, there's been a lot of drama surrounding him, and things haven't clicked in Cleveland. And look, maybe he goes out there Sunday and has a big game, but that's kind of not what the facts will tell you as of now. Is he's just not. I mean, you match him up against Dak right now, and it's really not even close. You look at quarterback to quarterback here. The Cowboys have a huge advantage there, and like I said earlier in the show, they're missing Nick Chubb. They're running back 1, so Jerome Ford is going to be their running back 1, but you'll also see some Deontay Freeman and I can't remember the other guy they had there.
Freeman is intriguing. What happened? Because he was one of the best backs.
No, Deontay Foreman. I'm sorry.
Foreman.
Yeah, Deontay Foreman.
What happened to Foreman? Did he drop off? Why are we not over? Because he used to be a top back. I'm surprised we're not concerned about him, unless is he kind of settled into a backup role? I don't remember him being on anybody's radar the last couple of years, but 5 years ago,
so he
was a top guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was with Houston for a couple of years, didn't really get a lot of touches. Went to Tennessee in 2020 and then 2021. Had a decent amount of touches in 2021 with Tennessee, but nothing crazy. Went to Carolina in 2022 and had a pretty decent year. Ran for 913 yards, 5 touchdowns. So I would say that's definitely his best year by far. But no, I don't really think anything jumps off the page here when it comes to Foreman. And he was with Chicago last year and went for 425 with 4 touchdowns, 3.9 yards per carry. So really nothing crazy special there. But he's a guy that can add depth to your team.
I might be confusing him with somebody different, because
I think you are. Yeah.
I thought he was. So, okay, I see what you're saying. That the running game without Chubb is very, very suspect there, which is good news we had trouble stopping the run last year. Now, I think Zimmer has made that a focus. So I think if they try to run, we can stop them, because I don't think they have a lot of talent running at us in the running back room now. Chubb was a beast, man. And
he is. And Jerome Ford, like I said, Jerome Ford is the running back 1 as of now. This is a guy that went for 813 last year with 4 touchdowns, 1 fumble. Let's see, did he have any receiving touchdowns last year? I don't see that here. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of a middle of the pack guy when it
Yeah.
even kind of below average, honestly, when it comes to running back. So he played in every game last year in Cleveland as kind of the backup to Chubb, but Chubb dealt with some injuries last year as well. He's been dealing with injuries quite a bit. So, but this guy doesn't jump off the page. So yeah, like I said, but other than that, Amari Cooper is their number one weapon. And he had a pretty good year last year, I would say. He was consistent, stayed healthy last year.
With Flacco throwing him the ball. Flacco's not throwing him the ball.
Yeah, exactly. But he went for 1,250 yards last year with 5 touchdowns.
Big.
So he had a good season. So that that he's a threat for sure. We know all about Amari Cooper, but
we sure do. We're fans.
Other than that, their slot right now is Jerry Jeudy, who we all know who is really just not panned out in the NFL so far. Coming out of Alabama, he was supposed to, he was taken round 1 by Denver, and we know what's going on in Denver when it came to
That's good news for
Wilson
Carson
issue, but
good news for Carson because I think
Diggs
takes Amari and Carson can handle these guys.
So Judy's going to play in the slot mostly. So that will be on.
A linebacker picks him up, or does a safety come up?
No, I'm sorry.
Situation.
Where did I go here? Who's our? I'm all over the place.
I can hear you clicking. But yeah, we know Cooper well. Cooper saved our season a few seasons ago when they brought it.
I'm sorry, Jordan Lewis. For some reason, I got so many guys in my head.
Yeah.
Jordan Lewis is going to take Jeudy, and then Carson will be lined up with Cedric Tillman, who
even better news.
He was drafted last year by the Cleveland Browns, 3rd round pick. So out of Tennessee, had 21 receptions last year for 224, no touchdowns. So really nothing special there.
I can guarantee you them boys went at each other when he was at Alabama and he was at Tennessee, right? They probably are acquainted.
Who?
You just said he played at Tennessee. Didn't Diggs playing? Oh, we're talking about this is a guy we're talking about playing Carson's taking, my bad.
Yeah.
Carson's
yeah, no, but yeah, you're right. Sorry. I was confused there
Diggs
for a second.
I think but Diggs probably went up against each other. Diggs probably shut him down.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
He won't have to worry about Diggs. Diggs will be taking Amari.
Yeah, so like we said, the key to the defense here, man, is just really like, to me, this Cleveland Browns passing attack just really doesn't worry me that much with all the reasons I just said. They got Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy is okay. I mean, he's middle of the pack at best, I would say. But then it really drops off when it comes to the wide receiver room. Maybe some of their young guys we're overlooking. We just haven't seen it yet. But other than that, man, I mean, if their run game isn't happening, like I expect the Cowboys to be able to shut them down. And this is a good opportunity for the Cowboys rush defense to shut them down. And we talked about early in the season, they have some tests when it comes to running game. And this is a Cleveland franchise that is known for their running games. They have good run schemes. They should be able to run the ball fairly decent, even with Jerome Ford as running back 1, and then Deshaun Watson's obviously a threat to run the ball
if he feels like it.
And I would say really the strongest part of this Cleveland offense is their offensive line. They have a really solid offensive line, run and pass protection. So, but again, you got Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence lined up on the opposite side of you. So 2 of the top edge rushers in the league, and hopefully we see Mozzie Smith play well, but we got some other guys in there. And
Diggy Zua.
Diggy Zua, of course. He's going to be a problem.
People going to sleep on him. He's going to be in the backfield before you know it.
Yeah, so I would say the key to this defense is stopping the run game, putting them in 3rd and longs, just like I said about the Cowboys, making Deshaun Watson make throws. I think, we have a strong secondary. I think they'll probably try and pick on Carson there, but at the same time, Jordan Lewis and Stephon Diggs have proved themselves as solid cornerbacks. And then we've had our safeties that look great in preseason and last year. So Malik Hooker needs to get involved and provide that coverage as well. But, if Parsons and Lawrence can get home a few times and put them in some 3rd and longs and stop the run game, I feel very confident that this defense can take care of this Cleveland offense. So, we could be looking at a low scoring game, but I think the defense kind of wins the battle there, man. I don't see this Cleveland offense really threatening this Cowboys defense.
Okay.
I would say
agree.
the only thing I'm concerned with is really Eric Kendricks being healthy, overshown being his first NFL game. So that linebacker room is the only kind of area I'm really concerned
I am
with.
not a bit worried about Eric Kendricks. I am worried Overshown is either going to show out or he's going to get burnt. I mean, the reports out of camp is he looked great, but that seems to be the theme, right? All reports say this guy looks great, this guy looks great. They can't all look great.
Right.
So I think he's going to be a star in the NFL. Do I think he's going to be the best player on the field his first game of his career? Probably not. So a lot might be riding on him. They might try to come at him. And he might pick one off, hopefully.
Yeah, who knows, man? Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, Kalen Carson's a big one too. So some of these newer guys, obviously we talk about Mozzie Smith, but if we could just get production from some of our young guys and our veterans come out and show out and Diggs is back, that. So there are some question marks on the defensive side of the ball. I just think that Cleveland doesn't really threaten us much on offense. I don't think they really threaten anybody right now unless they go out here and Deshaun looks like he did in 2020. But I just don't see that happening, man. This is 2024 now. That's a long time ago, and he just hasn't looked like himself. I think they got problems there. I think they really
got a backup plan. They had a backup plan last year that worked, but it was a backup to the backup plan. But this year, I think they got that insurance. They're ready to play on without him.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're the beginning of the end for him. Because if he gets hot against us, that team might be dangerous all the way around.
Yeah.
But if he comes out and flops, we might ruin his career right there. Darn it.
Yeah, too bad. So, hey, that's kind of both sides of the ball. Let's get into the injury report real quick, if that's all right with you, Cowboy Reg. On the Dallas side, Chuma Doga is obviously out. Nathan Thomas, our rookie left tackle, is on the injured reserve, but he wasn't even really going to make the team anyway. Eric Kendricks is questionable with a back injury. He should play. Brandon Cooks is questionable. He should play. Damone Clark is questionable. He should play as well. Tyler Guyton is questionable. I think he'll play. Overshown is also questionable with a hip injury. I think he's all right as well. None of these guys we've really heard it. It's just one of these things where they're a little banged up after training camp. They should be fine.
I have a different theory.
Okay.
You have to, as a coach, list a certain number of players questionable each week. If you don't, you're a moron. When a guy is questionable, that means we're gonna make you go to practice and practice for this guy, but we also want you to practice for their backup because he might be coming in. This guy's questionable. So now you're wasting their time in practice for a guy that's never going to play. So strategically, you should list. If you have the injuries, you have to list them. But you can list anybody at questionable. Questionable could mean a guy has just said, man, I don't feel right today. One time the whole week. Oh, maybe he'll get that back. I question whether he could play. It could be anything. So I think they just do it, man. I'm not worried about any of those cues at all at this point. These guys haven't even played in the preseason. They're healthy. They're ready to roll. And that's just a veteran coach, McCarthy. Every once in a while, he does things the right way out of habit. He's been there a long time coaching. You just list a few questionable and make them think about it. Make them practice for it.
Yeah, man. So also Deron Bland is obviously out.
Yeah, he's out. Sam Williams out. Yeah.
Sam Williams out. And then Israel Mukamu is also out. So he said he's dealing with an undisclosed injury and he will miss an undetermined length of time. Is it? I don't know if that's accurate. I feel like.
Who are you talking about?
Israel Mukamu. Yeah, he's fine. Never mind. Yeah, that's a bad report.
I have him listed as fine. That could be
he's fine. That was back in early August, and they forgot to take that off. So he should be okay. Yeah, don't worry about that. So, we obviously know CeeDee Lamb is still listed as out. He obviously will play.
But he got some weird exemption. because he
Yeah.
came in late, so they're allowed to.
That's
list him as
contract
out.
thing. He's healthy, but
Yeah,
you may see.
they can bring like an extra player in for a couple of weeks or something. It's something to do with the roster exemption or something.
Jerry's got this all figured out, man.
He's playing. Jerry's he milks it to the end, man. Yusef said it earlier. What did he say? He's a last minute guy, but he had to work for it. He's an 11th hour guy.
Yeah.
Jerry. Yusef said he's an 11th hour guy. So perfect. We're going to leave CD as out. And then 1 hour before the game, boom, he's activated. CD's starting. It's a shocker. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, man. And then on that's great. That's good stuff. Jerry. On the Cleveland side of the ball, injury report, Jordan Hicks, middle linebacker, is listed as questionable. I'm sure he will play. Dustin Hopkins, their kicker, is questionable. I would assume he will play as well. Nyheim Hines, like I said earlier, is out. That's big when it comes to their depth, as well as Nick Chubb. Let's see. Ledrick Willis, the left tackle, is listed as questionable. David Njoku, their tight end, is questionable as well, but they should all play. That's really the biggest thing coming out of the Cleveland injury report. Nothing major there. Also, their backup running back, Pierre Strong Jr., is also listed as questionable. But anyone you see as questionable as of right now, I would assume would play unless something changes. And that looks like pretty much they're going to be with the exception of Nick Chubb.
A big
should be pretty, big exemption. They should be pretty healthy. I'm not really seeing any.
No questionable status on Watson because of the arm or the elbow pain he was experiencing.
He's listed as ready to go.
Yeah, just like 2 weeks ago, the elbow was hurting, right? So I guess he's fine now.
Yeah, they did have some like Jack Conklin, tackle, is questionable. So is Jedrick Willis. They're some of their offensive guys, but see them as okay. I don't think they're going to miss this game. So that was just on one side. Yeah, they got some of their linemen listed as questionable, but I think they're okay.
I think, just like I said earlier, I think both teams are playing that game, and those guys will be fine. You just make the other team think a little bit.
Yeah, so I think we got that for the injury report. So most teams, like I said, going in fairly healthy. We had some losses. Well, I don't know. We lost Ron Bland and Sam Williams. They're two pretty big injuries. So we'll see. Hopefully,
Bland hurts.
The Bland one hurts bad.
Williams was going to be we think he can be good guy. We think he can be good, just like we think Rico Dowdle can be good. We don't want to lose those guys, but we never really had them. We never really had Sam Williams, so that doesn't hurt. Deron Bland hurts, man. That hurts. Yeah. And now all of a sudden Diggs can't play his way back in. You have to be the guy. That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, so big game for Kalen Carson for sure.
Too.
All right, so weather report. So Sunday in Cleveland, we're looking at a 67 for that day.
Wow, that's freezing.
So pretty nice weather. That'll feel good. That's great football weather.
In 6 months. I don't even know what 67.
I know
feels
it's finally going to get down to the 60s here in Mississippi at night this weekend. So I'm pretty excited. Wow. But a high of 67 in Cleveland on Sunday. Winds could be a factor. Average wind at 14 miles an hour with a max wind gust of 23 miles an hour. So a little breezy. Partly sunny and breezy is the report, but that's decent. That's pretty decent wind. It's known to be pretty windy there in Cleveland, coming right off the lake.
I like our kicker being the best kicker on the field that day in those conditions. I'll say that.
Sure.
Advantage to the kicking game for the Cowboys, but the passing game is a problem in that wind. That's a problem. Those gusts are a problem. You got to listen to me, McCarthy. You got to establish the run.
Yeah, and Dustin Hopkins is just listed as questionable today, so something must have happened to him. He says he should be fine, but
okay.
You never, even if your theory is correct about the questionable thing, Cowboy Reg, like you wouldn't want to put your kicker on the questionable list. I wonder if he must have tweaked something. Like he'll still be kicking, but that might have an effect because this game could very well come down to some field goals. Because, like I said, two two great defenses going out there. And like I said, even with the Cowboys offense, if they're able to move down the field, this is still going to be a tough team to score on. So we're definitely going to rely on Brandon Aubrey in this game. And that could be a factor. And with this Cleveland offense not looking great, and one thing
their
you know
kicker
about Cleveland,
questionable, and we got a guy who just hit a 66-yarder. He can kick through the ball. He can kick through the wind. From 50 in, I would not even bat an eye. I'd go get a beer and come back and see the 3 points added to the score. Over 50, the way he kicks, it would be affected by the wind. That would be a problem. But who's that guy? Their kicker who's questionable. He's not going to outkick Aubrey. So that's the advantage of the Cowboys that win in the kicking game. Passing game, different story.
Yeah, so I think that's all there is to do when it comes to breaking down the game. I want to get into some NFL picks, but I seriously have to run and get my computer charger or it's going to die. So,
all right, I'll entertain.
Chiefs and Ravens. Start telling the folks about your first prediction.
Well, I've said it all off season, and I'll say it again. The Kansas City Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions until proven otherwise. So foolish to take anyone else but the Chiefs coming off the greatest win of the year, winning the Super Bowl. So I have to pick the Chiefs. However, it seems like a game that the Ravens would win. The Ravens would win a game like this because they'll never beat them in the playoffs. I don't see it ever happening. I don't see Mahomes losing to anybody in the AFC in the playoffs if they're both healthy, except Joe Burrow. That's the only player that somehow gets by him, or he likes their defense because he's not playing Mahomes, he's playing their defense. But there's something about that duel. But in the regular season, that's the game the Ravens win. They win those kind of games. I picked Kansas City out of respect, and you could circle me for KC because I'm not going to go against the Super Bowl champs. But if the Ravens win that game, I'm not going to be the least bit surprised because that's a game they would win. See them in the playoffs, never going to win that game. But week one, yeah, they might win that game.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Cowboy Reg. I got my phone charger. Crisis averted. So you got Kansas City in week one?
I'm going out of respect, KC.
All right. I got the Ravens. I think it's gonna take time for, just like last year, for Kansas City to get motivated, and they will, and they'll get
Super
together.
Bowl hangover, man.
It's a real thing.
Rightfully so. Well, you party. You did it.
All right. So we got a big. This is a tough one. Green Bay at Philly. Friday night football in Brazil. Philly's a 3-point favorite. Who do you got in this one, other than hopefully both teams? I know we don't like the Eagles, but hopefully they make it down there safe and they can come back safe in one piece.
And fans, don't be foolish in that. Go to your hotel and go to the restaurant in the hotel and go to the game and come back from the game. Don't go
it's sketchy. You got a lot of players. A lot of players out there saying that they don't want their families to come. So I don't know why they're doing this game in Brazil. It's stupid. I think it's ridiculous. But Green Bay or Philly, who you got?
Go Pack, go! I got the Pack. Coming out. Jordan Love coming out on fire and scorching this Eagles team that collapsed and went, I believe, 1-6, counting the playoff loss to end the season and get blown out by our good friend Baker Mayfield. He not only cooks, he bakes.
He bakes.
They are the problem. I mean, they have a problem more than we have a problem. You don't come from, well, we were 1-6 in our last 7. We're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't understand that way of thinking at all. Question marks are there. The coach is on the hot seat. They put all their money in Barkley, but they didn't have a problem at running back. Was Swift a problem? I mean, did they have a problem running the ball? Last I checked, they could run the ball fine. So I'm not really sure that they really upgraded at running back, except they upgraded in salary and they upgraded in name. Now, everybody's talking about them because you went and got this Barkley guy, but you really lost one of the greatest centers to ever play the game and the captain of your team. You lost coordinators. You're bringing in the coordinator that we fired and, Jim Harbaugh fired. The guy's a 2-time loser. You're bringing him in to run the offense. There's questions in Philly. There ain't a single question in Green Bay. The Green Bay knows who their man is. That's Jordan Love. They paid him. They had him at camp day one. I expect the Pack to come out and win that game on a neutral field. This ain't Philly. If it was in Philly, it might be a different outcome. But Green Bay goes and wins this game.
All right. Well, we got all of that from Cowboy Reg. He knows exactly what's going down in Philly, and you make a lot of good points. And I think the Eagles' demise is coming, but it doesn't come in week one. They're going to win a few games early on, and then they will collapse. And I kind of believe in the Green Bay hangover as well. Everything's so green and no pun intended and wonderful in Green Bay right now. They're going to be, they're all in. They're taking the NFC this year.
But the sick part of it, though,
pump the brakes.
The sick part of it is they can lose this game and they'll still be that high. That's how the Packer fans are, and I respect that. They're internal optimists, dude. Nobody from Green Bay will ever talk ill will about anyone who's an active player. As soon as they leave, they sucked. Oh, they hated Brett Favre. Yeah, he had to go. But Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Oh, man, the Jets are making a big mistake. This guy sucks. But when you're in Green Bay with that G on your helmet and you're walking around town like they do in that community, I mean, you're a hero to everybody, man. That fan base is optimistic, and I like that about them. I think, man, that you're not going to get any – that's what I'm saying. You're not going to get any letdown from Green Bay. If you think they're going to stop saying go Pack go, they ain't never going to stop. So just forget about that bias that you got and pick the Packers.
Oh, I'm picking Philly.
Oh, that's ugly.
I know. Philly wins. Philly wins in a weird Brazil game. We're still gonna have to deal with both teams. It's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game. They're gonna want to show off to this international crowd, whatever, and they're gonna say it could be a potential. Just wait. It's gonna be on Peacock. I don't know who's calling the game. It might be Jason Garrett.
It probably
is because
he works for
Sunday.
NBC.
Yeah, because the NBC guys, Collinsworth and who's our boy's name? Collinsworth and God, that's terrible.
I don't know.
I suck tonight.
I don't know anything past 1996. If it happened before 1996, I know everything about it. But if it happened after that, I don't. Hey, Cowboys are. This is year one since the Super Bowl, as far as I'm concerned.
God, Mike Tirico. Jesus,
I forget everything.
I'm terrible. All right, Mike Tirico and Collinsworth will be calling the Kansas City-Baltimore game, so they won't be there. So it might be, I don't know who's going to call it Peacock game. And we got a Notre Dame game on Saturday, so we could probably look it up, but that doesn't matter. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the Eagles. All right, we got to nail through these picks
here.
Hopefully
All right. Jason Garrett's in Brazil for the sake of Notre Dame. I hope he's in Brazil instead of calling a Notre Dame game.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's bad news, man.
All right, Pittsburgh at Atlanta. Atlanta is a 3.5-point favorite at home. We got
too much hype around Atlanta. I think Pittsburgh goes in and wins that game. Russell Wilson looks like crap, but they win the game in Pittsburgh Steelers style, like 16-13 or something like that. Because Atlanta has got, I mean, maybe it's because I live in the South, but people think this team's going somewhere, and I just don't see it. I don't see it. Pittsburgh is tough.
See it either.
That stadium is going to be yellow. That terrible towel will be running that stadium. I'm telling you right now, there is a lot of folks from Pennsylvania down here. And the best of the two fan bases that you get down here, Pittsburgh people are higher on the list for me. So they'll be well represented in Atlanta, and I think they'll win that game ugly.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pittsburgh's defense is always, they're going to be good again this year, and they might, they very well could have an upgrade, even if it's Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Like their offense looks a little upgraded. I'm going with Pittsburgh as well. Arizona at Buffalo. Buffalo 6.5-point favorites. I think we're both taking the Bills here. They're not losing to the Cardinals at home. Yeah, come on now.
Upstate in the house.
That's right. All right, moving right along here. Ooh, this is a good one. Tennessee Titans at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are 4-point home favorites in Caleb Williams' first game as a Chicago Bear. Who you got?
Titans.
Oh,
I think.
Damn.
I think there's a period of adjustment in this league, and I don't think they played Williams enough in the preseason. They crowned him as a great coach once said. They crowned him. And,
I
think it's an ugly game. He's a rookie quarterback. Is he going to be good in this league? I think he's got all the attributes to be a great quarterback within the next 5 years. How do rookie quarterbacks do? How long did it take CJ to get to where he got? He didn't come out like that. This is his first game in the NFL. And the Titans are mid at best, right? That's being generous.
Yeah.
But he's a rookie. So take the Titans in an ugly game and he turns the ball over too much. He might show flashes of brilliance. He turned the ball over a few times and Titans win ugly.
Yeah. Look, man, I think you make good points. I think the Bears will win, and I think that this is the worst thing that can happen. But I think they do win. But I don't know. They have so many weapons on offense. Like they could be somewhat okay this year. I'm not going to say they're a playoff team, but
I think
they might win some
decent,
games.
But
man, there's going to be so much hype. They're going to win this game. They're going to almost burn the city down. It's like, dude, you're playing the Titans. So, but I do think the Bears will win. All right, New England at Cincinnati. Cincinnati 7.5-point home favorites. The first game without Bill Belichick.
I'm in a survival league with our good friend Hot Take.
Ooh.
Hot Take. Check your Venmo. And my pick week 1 is the Cincinnati Bengals. So I literally got my money on the Bengals. I think that's the pick of the week. That's the Cowboy Reg lock of the week.
Lock of the week, baby. Highlight it. Yeah, I'm with you. I want to. Is that league still open in the Survivor League?
Yeah, hit up Hot Take.
All right, I will. I want to get one of those. I've never done it before. It looks really fun. All right, Houston at Indy. Indy is a 3-point favorite. Or I'm sorry, Houston is a 3-point favorite.
Houston. I think there's questions in Indy. I don't know what's going on. The confidence level in Richardson seems to be being talked about by people inside the Indianapolis sports world. And I think there's no question, like I say about Jordan Love, and I know you're the guy that believes in the letdown. I just think they're riding too high. I think CJ's riding too high. It doesn't stop. I think they win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tech. Well, wow. I think Indy. Wow. I think Indy's going to be actually pretty decent this year. And they were actually kind of scared, like on the verge last year. Like they were testy. Like
when he was a dual threat. When he was a dual threat, but they don't want him to be that anymore. He's already been knocked out for the season doing that.
I know, but even with Minshew last year, they still have pretty good defense. They still have
they
were still threatening to make the playoffs last year.
And what was the score of that game? Did Indy blow him off they blew him off the field. I mean, the Houston blew him off the field. Didn't they have to play to get in?
Oh, to get in, yeah, they did.
Houston blew him off the field. So here we go. You're playing Houston again. Same team, same result.
All right, Jacksonville at Miami. Miami's 3.5-point favorite at home.
That was almost my pick of the week right there. Dolphins, easy.
I got Jacksonville. For the Battle of Florida.
That's crazy talk.
Without Baker. But hey, man, I've always kind of liked this. I kind of like this Jacksonville team. I think they're tough. I think they're going to be okay, man. A little disappointing year last year. I think they turned it around. Miami, it's always I don't trust Tua all the way.
I will say this. I mean, I'm cheering for the Jags. The closest NFL stadium to where I'm sitting right now is in Jacksonville. So I would love to see the Jags in the playoffs and, being in this area and being able to possibly go to something like that. But I don't believe in him, man. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. And I don't know if they can run the ball anymore. Etienne's gone, right? Am I thinking of his brother?
No, he's there.
Okay. All right. Well, they need to run the ball. I think that's the key to their offense. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is special. I really don't. I think he's an average quarterback. So I don't see him.
Travis Etienne is. Yeah, he's definitely.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking maybe his brother is in the league, or that name came up, is injured somewhere to me lately. But I'll be cheering for him. But I think Miami's a good regular season team.
That's true.
They win games like this.
All right, Carolina at New Orleans. New Orleans is a 4-point favorite at home.
Carolina's so bad, right? I mean, they're just not. They're not a team that could go on the road and beat anybody. So I don't think either one of these teams are good, but I think New Orleans wins that at home.
Yeah, I think their defense is still solid enough, and who knows, maybe they'll be a little better this year. We'll talk about them more next week because we got them. But yeah, I think the Saints win. The Carolina is just they're gonna have another struggle fest. Minnesota at New York Giants. Minnesota is 2-point favorites. Who the hell is gonna start that game at quarterback? Sam Darnold will be playing for the Vikings. Oof, this game shouldn't even be on TV. It's going to be complete dookie.
I feel bad for Hot Take City that he has to watch this game, but I feel good about it too because I think the Giants win this game, and the Giants fans will be starting to believe in old Danny Boy again, old Danny Dimes, and in reality, this might be the only game they win for a long, long time this year. But
yeah,
I got the Giants.
I can't believe Minnesota's favored. I'm taking the Giants too, for sure. Man, it's bad news in Minnesota right now.
Rebuilding.
Really bad.
They set up to rebuild, and then the guy they're rebuilding around gets hurt.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's not a team that and no offense to Sam Darnold, I think he can win a few games for you. He's serviceable, but he's a backup quality guy. He's not supposed to be a starter, not anymore. There was a time where they thought he might be something, but now I think it's just serviceable backup. And the Giants, Daniel Jones shows flashes of brilliance, and this might be a time that he does it when it really doesn't mean anything and nobody's watching. He might win this game.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think they win it. I think they pull it out. Where is Washington? Oh yeah, NFC East might go undefeated. No, they won't. Vegas at LA. Raiders at the Chargers. Chargers are 3-point favorites.
Chargers.
Yeah,
I'm
going.
The Raiders.
I'm going Chargers as well. I'm going with Herbert being back. I think
my boy Puna from Hilton Head Island. Puna's playing for the Chargers now. Puna Ford.
Yeah.
So I'm be a Chargers fan this year.
Yeah, I think Vegas is. I don't know. Just that preseason game we watched, their quarterbacks out there dueling.
They got a bad. They got a bad
Minshew and
quarterback. Ooh,
Minshew will start. He'll start, but he looked terrible. Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers. All right, Denver at Seattle. Seattle is a 6-point favorite at home.
Seattle doesn't ever beat anybody by 6. They beat them by 1 point with a field goal at the end of the game, and that's what they'll do here. Seattle in a last minute field goal.
Yeah, I'm going with Seattle in
because of the 12s.
They're going to be another
12s
tough.
Will give you that point, man. That's a point every time they play in Seattle. Give them a point for that crowd, and that this is the game that point's used.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be a tough team, man. They will. And Denver starting Bo Nix. Maybe Denver will be a little better this year with Bo Nix, but I mean that's still a rebuild, rookie quarterback, even though he spent
just like I
12 years
Williams,
in the NCAA.
I believe in Nix, and I believe he's the right choice, and he should be starting. But I also think rookies don't play well at the first few games in the NFL. So just like I said with Williams, I give the disadvantage to having that rookie quarterback out there.
Washington at Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield. Tampa Bay 3.5-point favorites at home.
He doesn't just cook; he bakes.
Yeah, we can't go against our boy. We are a Baker Mayfield podcast. Yeah, Tampa. 3.5 is a little tricky, but they throw that half point in. Okay,
they're gonna win by 10. They're going by 10. He bakes.
I like that pick too. That might be something
he bakes.
But if I bet on it, then Washington will win. So I might not do that.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Sunday Night Football. Chargers at Detroit. A playoff matchup from last year.
Yeah, you
Rams at Detroit.
Yeah.
Why are you going to make two teams from LA with the same colors? All right.
Yeah,
same looking logo as well. But anyway, Rams at Detroit. Detroit is a 4-point favorite, rematch from a playoff game last year. We all know the storylines there with Stafford and Detroit and Goff in Detroit, the old quarterback swap. Did the Fighting Dan Campbells get it done in Detroit Sunday Night Football? They do.
They do, unfortunately, and I do think they're going to have a collapse this year. And Dan Campbell's going to be in hot water. His gambling style, Dan Gamble, is going to catch up to him, but not week one, not at home.
It's going to be a playoff
It's
collapse.
going to be a freaking celebration, and Detroit, rightfully so, they're going to be going nuts. It's going to be like the Super Bowl is in Detroit again. They're going to come out, and that crowd's going to carry them, and Gamble will do something crazy. It'll work, and they'll win the game. I don't know if they'll cover, and it might be a close game, but they're going to win.
I think it might be a little tight. Look, LA's tough. They're coached well. They got a lot of weapons on.
I'm glad
on offense. So
I wouldn't like it if we were going in there week one. I'll tell you that much.
To Detroit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Monday Night Football, New York Jets, Jets baby at the Niners. Niners are 4.5-point favorite.
What's the over under on how many plays the quarterback plays before his leg explodes again?
It's got to be 0.5. You got to base it off last year. So.
The over. I got the over. I got Rodgers playing through the season this year and stinking up the place and retiring. It starts on Monday night. He lays the egg right on the 50-yard line. They show his goatee. He's going to have snot on his goatee. It's going to be embarrassing. The demise of Aaron Rodgers begins Monday night. He'll probably have the tinfoil hat in the locker room. I think the Jets collapse on Monday night.
Yeah, man. I can't see the Jets going into San Francisco winning this game. But
and the Niners
only 4.5
guys.
Only 4.5.
Are signing. They're celebrating. They're signing guys right and left. Everybody's back. CMC is going to be healthy. Yep.
All right, and then what everybody is waiting for, Dallas Cowboys in Cleveland, 3:25 on Sunday. Cleveland is currently a 2.5-point favorite. Cowboy Reg, I need a score prediction from you.
23-20, 47-yard field goal as time expires by Brandon Aubrey. 23-20. Both teams turn the ball over. Multiple turnovers by Cleveland. Give the edge to Dallas. Puts them in field goal range late in the game. And we get out of there with a 3-point victory thanks to the best kicker in the NFL, Brandon Aubrey.
All right. I love it. Yeah. I'm going with Cleveland 16, Dallas 23 as well. 23-16, 3 field goals and a touchdown. And then Cowboys will need 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals.
Yeah,
that's quite a bit of offense, but that's what I'm feeling. 23-16. But yeah, I think the Dallas Cowboys can win this game. Not really sure exactly why Cleveland's favored, other than they're at home, and there's a lot of question marks with the Cowboys' offensive line. CD just got some, but they opened up as favorites. So
yeah, they did.
I don't know what
I think CD moved the needle. Did he move it a point or half a point? He moved the needle a little bit, but I said
no. They opened up as Cleveland opened up as a 1-point favorite. It's moved towards Cleveland. People are putting their money on Cleveland.
I thought at one point they were 3-point favorites, but at least, or 3-5. But regardless, people only pay attention to the drama, which is Jerry Jones, and the headline news, which is Jerry Jones all the time. NFL Network ran out of things to talk about when CeeDee Lamb got signed. So we're actually finding out there's people like Philadelphia Eagles. There's people still holding out in this league, and they're not on the Cowboys. The Cowboys roster's set. I think that's a foolish bet to bet points on Cleveland. There's more question marks in Cleveland than there is in Dallas. As bad as you think our offseason was, we know what we got, and our guys are back. 8 out of 9 Pro Bowlers are back, and our draft picks look good. I think they win the game. It might be ugly. It might be low scoring, but they win the game. There's more questions in Cleveland. One extra turnover by Cleveland is a difference. Cowboys win the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they did not have a great turnover. They had one of the worst turnover
and we got
margins in the NFL last year. So
ball hawks.
That could very well be the difference. But yeah, I think I just look at both defenses being very good.
Yeah,
and I look at, okay, where is the team? Where can I make? That's a wash for me. And then I look at both offenses, and if you think Cleveland's offense is better than the Cowboys, like, you're out of your mind. So I think people are not giving the Dallas defense enough credit, and that's why they're putting their money on Cleveland. and they're probably giving Deshaun Watson and this Cleveland offense too much credit. And I don't really understand why. But yeah, like you said, a low-scoring, potentially ugly game, but I think the Cowboys just do enough to get this win, whether it's a turnover or, a very long kick by Brandon Aubrey that makes a difference. But there's something there that I think the Cowboys have that Cleveland doesn't. I just look at their offense being much stronger. I think, even if Dak gets sacked a couple times, I still think he can press the ball downfield a little bit. So I'm confident the Dallas Cowboys will go in there and get a win. But at the end of the day, I won't be completely shocked if they go in there and lose.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a tough game. There's a lot of Cleveland always plays really close games, especially at home. So I do expect this game to be close and tight, and there's going to be some sketchy times, but I think the Cowboys can get it done. I hope they do. We're going to try and be on after the game, and hopefully we'll be celebrating. We're trying to do a post-game show, but hey, it's week 1. Let's get fired up. Hopefully our boys can get in there, going to Cleveland as underdogs and start the season off right with a solid win over a really good AFC opponent. Any final shots today, Cowboy Reggie, before we sign off?
Yeah, let's celebrate. Let's get optimistic, and this could be a season that turns in our favor with these young guys, or it could be a disaster. But for now, we got to go into Cleveland with confidence. So great show tonight. Yusef was confident. I'm confident. You sound confident. Let's go Cowboys. Let's get that dub.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Look, it's I may be the podcast pessimist, but you have to be confident week 1. You have to be. You gotta come into the season with a little bit of confidence. Yep. And I like that there's some new guys on this team, and that can change the culture. And bringing in a guy like Zimmer can change the culture as well. And that's why I think, going in here and winning an ugly game can really boost the team. I would rather I want them to win comfortably, but at the same time, I would love for them to go into Cleveland and win an ugly one and really galvanize the team. Show some grit, man. These are the kind of games, like you said, that we lost last year because the team didn't have that grit. They didn't have the ability to go on the road and win tough games. So you got to do it. If you want to turn the franchise honestly around, this is a good way to start. Go in there and get an ugly win.
You just answered your own question. That's why they're favored, because this Cowboy team has not done it before. And Vegas is all about odds and stats. And when they look at this matchup, they say the Cowboys always lose this matchup.
You're right.
But we believe the culture changes. We believe in Mike Zimmer. So we believe that the culture changes. And streaks don't last forever. They never do. Otherwise Vegas would lose. So streaks don't last forever. And we hope it ends this weekend. So we're optimistic.
Yeah. Let's go Cowboys, man. It would be really nice to get this win. It would be. You don't want to start off the season. You never want to start off the season 0-1. It just raises too many questions. You want to just get out of there and let them start talking about somewhere, because there's going to be losses out there. Let the media get off our backs for 1 week, and let's try to get this season starting off right.
Let's go talk about Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
He could be the headline Monday morning, not us. We don't need that.
Let's go in there. Let's go in there and let's get an ugly win in an ugly city. Sorry, Cleveland. I had to do something. All right. Nice people from Cleveland, but your river caught on fire. Almost burned the city down. That's never good. All right. So this has been the first preview show of the year of the Sons of Star podcast. Dallas gets a win in Cleveland. We're both optimistic. We will see you guys after the game. Hopefully you guys have a great week, and go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Later.